This is Siva Devaki from MassMailer. Thank you so much for joining the webinar today. Today I'm going to talk about the Experience Cloud, Salesforce Experience Cloud, and how MassMailer can be supported in the Salesforce Experience Cloud. As you know, if you've been with Salesforce for quite some time, the Salesforce community portal has been renamed and updated many times. So it's the same thing as Salesforce Partner Community Portal or Customer Community Portal, which has been rebranded and renamed as Experience Cloud. And we have had a lot of requests from other customers to support MassMailer. So there were a few tweaks that we had to do. And again, it's a fully baked functionality, but there's going to be a little bit of a configuration that you would have to do if you were to support MassMailer in the Experience Cloud versions. And again, why anybody would want to do this? Because again, it all depends on your use case scenario, what kind of license that you're providing to your users. Do they have full CRM license, or maybe just the platform license, or the community portal license, which is Experience Cloud user license? Based on what type of a license, certain functionality in MassMailer may or may not be available. End of the day, we still have, the 4 types of licenses that are available. As you all know, the admin user, the full access user, the read-only access user, editor user. But again, we added the community user as well. For the licensing purposes, from our next release onwards, we're going to have the type of the user when you're actually going to add any user to MassMailer, which would be kind of separate from the full access user. If you wanted to assign the Experience Cloud user, you will see a new type of a license, MassMailer license type when you're adding a user. So that's going to be next release though. But if you are looking to add MassMailer to the portal users, that functionality is available, again, with some setup and configuration that you have to go through. In today's demo, I'm not going to show you the setup configuration. I plan to do that either offline or maybe another webinar. But today I would like to just show how it looks in the Experience Cloud, Salesforce Experience Cloud. We can take a look at both customer and the partner. We support both of them, assuming that you're familiar with both types of the license types. The fundamental difference between the partner and customer, for partner, you can access the opportunities and leads, but for customer, Salesforce would have certain restrictions on certain objects because customers are not meant to really create an opportunity or a lead. They are meant to be, doing self-service and access any other information that you want them to take a look. So they can certainly access contacts and accounts. So again, based on what type of licenses that you have, the setup configuration may be a little different. In the future, like in the next release, we do have a permission set that comes along for the partner and the customer portal users. Again, right now, if you were to really support this, it's possible, but with a little bit of an extra configuration that is needed. Okay. And it costs $12 per user per month. We are certainly open to work with you for the volume discounts based on how many user licenses that you want to add. So I understand that the customer Experience Cloud may cost less from Salesforce. Again, we are willing to work on the cost. But for the partner Experience Cloud, it's $12.49 users, 49 cents per user per month. Again, if you have high volume, certainly we can work with you on the pricing. That's not a problem at all. And there are certain limitations when it comes to Experience Cloud. I've not listed everything out here So we're still kind of working through, our existing customers who have got onboarded on this. But first and foremost, that we have noticed that Salesforce list view buttons do not work because we have custom list view buttons that we added. So that could be a limitation here. But how do you bypass or circumvent this particular limitation is to use the MassMailer list view. So if you've been using Salesforce list view buttons, meaning like by going to contact a lead and then creating a list view there and then sending an email, that feature won't be available in the portal environment. You would have to train your users to use the MassMailer list views, which is again supported in the partner portal. So that's one limitation that we have noticed. And there are small things here and there, but that's more the UI, how it looks and how it appears, but not the functionality as such. But again, as and when we get more feedback from the customers based on what part of MassMailer that they're using, we're going to add those limitations here. Again, these are all the limitations by Salesforce, just because Salesforce does not expose all the functionality in the portal environment or the Experience Cloud environment. Let's take a quick look at the demo. Again, this is going to be a very quick, assuming most of you are familiar with MassMailer, which I really don't have to explain, but my goal was to really show you fundamentally what are the differences or how the UI would really look when you go to the Experience Cloud environment, once you set up MassMailer. So I have two contacts here, one for the partner community, other one for the customer community. Again, just assume that it's an experienced cloud user. Ultimately, you need to know is that this is one of the contacts that has been set up for the partner Experience Cloud. So once you go there, you go to the login to Experience user. Again, your end users may not be doing this. Just to let you know, this is just for the sake of a demo. They may be logging in from like a portal or a site that you created for them on your website or wherever you're hosting it, meaning, of course, the vanity URL I meant. It is hosted on Salesforce, but how they log in, whatever the URL that you provide to them to log in. So that's the end user thing. So I'm not doing that. I'm actually trying to log in as the experience user right within Salesforce itself for the demo purposes. So let's just go log in. All right. So we have set up MassMailer. This is just an example thing, but you can always customize and, all these tabs, whatever tabs that you want to display. That is configurable. Again, your admin will have to do all of that. We're gonna release instruction guide for the Experience Cloud. What are things that you really have to do? So that document would be published very soon after this the demo. After this webinar, I mean. So as you can see, so MassMailer Outreach Wizard has been exposed in the list view, outreaches, suppressions, and a few other tabs such as template builder and email status. So again, how do you actually send an email? A partner portal user, how do they send an email? So they would go to the Outreach Wizard, and then they would see this, the MassMailer UI. As you can see, this is, I think, rendering, Salesforce is rendering it in a iframe or something like that. So that's the reason why you don't really see this being, same as the native MassMailer in the CRM license. But the functionality is the same. So the look and feel something that we cannot control. It's Salesforce driven. So everything is the same. So you would expect the user to just go here, click on the Outreach Wizard and select the audience. For example, they're sending an email to, say, contacts. So select a contact, and then they can select a list view from there. If there are any contacts that are available they should be able to see that. Otherwise, so they would have to select the one that has got access, meaning. So when it comes to the data access, very important point, whatever the records that they have access to, the portal users have access to is what they can see. So some of the list views, your CRM users may be able to see the data, but the partner portal users may not be able to see the data just because they don't have access to those records. But currently, we are exposing the list views. If you say that the list view is viewable by all users, even the portal users can also see it. Again, based on the access level that you're given to the MassMailer list view, those are the list views that are displayed in the dropdown. And provided the users have access to the respective filtered records, they will see the results. If not, they do not. So for an example, this particular list view has one contact, and this user does have access to this particular record, so that's why it is displaying it. So all I'm doing is just selecting the contact object and selecting the list view, and then rest is the same. So there's no functionality difference as such. So they would select the folder, and you would select any of the templates that has been created. Again, this is just we call this as a demo email for the partner portal. And so this is a demo email, and the merge fields would work the same. There's no difference again. So since I selected contact, if I select the contact object here for the sake of merge fields, say first name, done, copy and paste it here. So that is the same, no change. So let's say this is your template, just keeping it simple, save it, and then go to the next step. And then attach files if needed, otherwise go to the next step, sender options, the same thing. So you will have all those options that are available. Just keeping everything as the default ones, since you are familiar with MassMailer. So again, there's certain defaults here. I'm not really changing anything. Just keep sending. Just send the email right now. The rest again is the regular MassMailer functionality. And then if you go here to the final review step, so it all looks the same. There's no difference. You would just go click launch and then send. So the experience-wise, the functionality and the UI would look the same. It may render a little different. So as you can see, the white color background is shown here, just because that's how Salesforce, displays. And you can see chat is enabled. So these kind of things that again your admin can fix those things. So otherwise, you can see the regular buttons and the statistics. All of that information would be shown the way it is supposed to be displayed. So all of that is the same. There's no difference. And if they go to the contact and look at the contact again, based on how you have given the page layout access, they will be able to see the MassMailer related data. And you can turn off certain tabs, not that you have to open. For example, you can turn it off. So that's on how your admin is actually going to configure. And if you don't want them to access operations, you can turn it off, based on what you really want them to look at and not look at. So that's something that you can decide on what needs to be displayed. As you can see, MassMailer outreach is also displayed, where they can actually see the outreaches that are accessible to them, right? So those are the kind of things that you need to know, in terms of what tabs they can access and what functionality that they can access. You can turn it on or turn it off. For an example, MassMailer setup should not be displayed for a portal user, right? So you can turn it off. And then again, when it comes to certain access level validation, we may have some of those validations already done in the next release. just because we have a permission set that's assigned by default, that'll display an error just in case if certain tabs or objects are not accessible by the portal users. So as you can see, the template builder is the same. There's no difference. They should be able to create templates using this tab. Again, it's up to you if you want to expose this template builder or not. Right. So that is basically how a partner experience user can access MassMailer. Okay. All right, now let's take a look at the customer experience user. It may look the same with respect to the UI and everything. I still want to kind of show you that provided you have customer community user or customer experience cloud user, you just have to again let them log in from the portal access that you provided to them with the URL and stuff. And once they log in, they would still see the same thing. Again, I really don't have to go through everything though. I think this is just to kind of give you an idea on how it appears in the portal environment for different types of licenses that you have for the Experience Cloud, and what can be done and what can be suppressed or what can be displayed, right? So for the customer experience cloud user, again, you can give the access to the list views, outreaches, suppressions, and template builder, based on, again, what are the things that you want to display. So some of our existing customers who have enabled or who actually implemented the portal for their partners or customers, they've decided to turn on maybe one or two tabs, not everything else, because they don't want them to create the templates or they don't want them to upload suppressions, for example. So they've not really exposed everything, but they've got the outreach wizard and the outreaches. So again, based on what you think would make sense for your users, you will have to decide what you want to turn on and turn off. We will certainly have the instruction video as well recorded, mostly on how or what needs to be done in order to set up this portal environment to support MassMailer. And also there would be an instruction guide as well, which will be published very soon. Any questions? Feel free to put it in the chat window if you have any questions. Okay, seems like no questions today. Okay, all right. Once again, this is a weekly webinar, and we do this every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific. Due to holidays, I did not do it for almost 4 weeks, just because most of the people were on a holiday. So we will continue this as a weekly webinar once again. This is the first one in the new year. Thank you so much for joining. If you're new to MassMailer, feel free to get a trial by going to our website and click on free trial button. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or our company email, and the phone number is given. Any questions, please let us know. And if you're interested in getting on a MassMailer, yes, we are happy to help you with a trial as well. And if you're new to these webinars, and if you have never signed up to or subscribe to our YouTube channel, I strongly request you to go there to YouTube and search for MassMailer. You'll find our YouTube channel and subscribe to it, because we post all these videos to our YouTube. Certainly they are on our website as well and the support portal, but YouTube may give you easier way to really search through and then give you recommendations and whatnot. So I strongly recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, thank you so much for joining the webinar today. Looking forward to working with you. Have a great rest of the week. Take care.